I think this is interesting for people because I think people just feel like, hey, look, NFL players, just go out there and play. You're not real people. You don't really get hurt. You were talking about the possibility of the NFL looking into legalizing weed or marijuana or however, THC, whatever it is, for pain. You believe that, don't you? You believe that that's important.
I'm a firm believer in that, yeah, mostly because, now granted, in India, it's not legal, so I can't talk about doing it on the day-to-day. Obviously, I would never do that and do something illegal. But when I travel to a state in which it is legal, it is always nice to experience the benefits of the cannabis plant. And I think it has been around for so long. Obviously, it goes stories of thousands of years, depending upon how you about cannabis and marijuana either being a part of negotiations, peace pipes, or making people feel better. And then I think it got politicized, obviously, with the first impression of marijuana for a lot of people, especially the people in power right now, were with a group of humans who didn't necessarily represent everything that they thought America should represent. I think when the hippies got tied together with the marijuana, I think there was a quick first impression of, oh, we hate marijuana, we hate hippies, and now those people are potentially in power right now. So marijuana and cannabis was always discussed as basically who is doing it as opposed to what it does for the people that are smoking it. And I think we're continuing to evolve in the nature of research and studies and science. And I know Governor Holcomb here in Indiana said, I want to see more research. I want to see more research. There seems to be a never-ending amount of research that says there's a lot of benefits to this potential plant. And now that the NFL has dabbled in it a little bit with $1 million, and $1 million, what is that really in the end of the day? Probably nothing. But the fact that people are now getting a chance to learn about all the goodness that comes from this one plant, whether it's CBD, THC, CBN, whatever the case is, there's a lot of arthritis folks that were anti-smoking ganja for a long time. But once they got a chance to experience edibles and they felt a little bit of lightness in their knees and their joints, they're like, wait a minute, but all this thing that I heard was terrible and would make me lazy and make me fat, make me hate America is actually something that makes my body feel good. And I still have the same drive as I used to have. It's just a fascinating time. And anytime the NFL dabbles in something, I normally think naturally, because I'm kind of blinders on, focused in my own little world. If the NFL does something, normally that's a ripple effect for the rest of the world. And I'm hoping that's the case for everybody in this particular avenue, because I think we've all seen and all felt the effects of opioid abuse and what pharmaceuticals could potentially do. And if there's a nice alternative the guys want to take, I think more power to them. They should be able to do it, especially in the modern world we're in.